Hi everyone, it's Natalie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about some romance books that some I've read somewhat recently and others I read in the summer. Let's not dwell on that. The first book I'm going to be talking about is Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. C.M. Nascosta. That is their name. So in this book, we follow this woman who I think she pursued a graduate degree. She's buried in student loan debt and she can't find a job. So she resorts to going to work at a milking farm who milks not exactly the milk you're thinking about. In essence, it's a farm where minotaurs have the milk that is not milk milked from them because it's used to make like erectile dysfunction pills, I think it is. It's so ridiculous, y'all. It's so silly. I had such a good time with this book. It was so much fun. I think I gave it 4 stars, was it? Yes, I gave it 4 stars. This was such a delight to read. I heard about it because of Johari's. I will link her channel down below. She hasn't posted in a while, but she always has the best romance recommendations. And I saw her tweeting about this book and I was like, you know what? I need to check that out. And so I did. And I had a really, really good time with it. The premise, of course, is absurd, and the story is actually quite cute and sweet. Like, there's actual build-up in the relationship between the protagonist and one of the minotaurs that she milks. It's actually a really, really sweet relationship that I really enjoyed following, and the build-up to the smut was just perfection. It was beautiful. It was iconic. It was amazing. My only complaint is that this does have this strange writing thing where it goes into and out of the past without really making that shift clear. So it is a bit confusing at times to read it. But overall, I would highly recommend this if you are into this kind of thing. If it sounds for you, definitely check it out, okay? It's a good time. It's an overall good time. The next book I picked up was Feed by Avita Weiss. I was just in a monster fucker mood, okay? Because this one is about a succubus and a moth person. They're like part moth, maybe part fairy. Something like that. I don't remember, but it's this whole, let me see if I can find the summary if it helps, because it's really short. It's really mostly just like a short erotica, monster fucker erotica. Let's see. Averin has a dirty little secret. She hates her fey co-worker, but that's no surprise. Not when Pai's tattoos and easygoing attitude clash with her pencil skirts and rigid expectations. Those strict rules help her maintain a corporate appearance so no one catches on to the truth of what she is. A succubus, secretly scheduling the feedings she needs to survive. Imagine her shock to find Pai on her doorstep offering their services. Averin should refuse, but the need to feed is growing stronger, and once she gets a taste of him, she's not sure her hunger will be sated by anything less than his body against hers. I think this was probably like a 3.5 or something along those lines, because I enjoyed it, but it wasn't everything I wanted it to be. You know, it was good for the moment, but I was expecting a little bit more from it. I know there's going to be, or there already is by now, a full-length novel about this couple, so I am hoping to pick that up, and maybe that will give me what I was missing to truly be in love with this story. But if you're looking for something short, smutty, and between a succubus and a fey moth creature, this is the one. The next book I'm going to be talking about is A Duke by Default by Alyssa Cole. Let me read the summary for y'all because it is not going to happen using this puny little brain of mine. Oh right, I forgot to mention that this is part of the Reluctant Royals series. It's the second book. So, New York City socialite and perpetual hot mess, Portia Hobbs is tired of disappointing her family, friends, and most importantly, herself. An apprenticeship with a struggling swordmaker in Scotland is a chance to use her expertise and discover what she's capable of. Turns out she excels at aggravating her gruff silver fox boss when she's not having inappropriate fantasies about his sexy Scottish burr. Travis Mackenzie doesn't need a rich, spoiled American telling him how to run his armory, even if she is infuriatingly good at it. Tav decides to rebuff his apprentice and his attraction to her. But when Portia accidentally discovers that he's the secret son of a duke, rough around the edges Tav becomes her newest makeover project. Forging metal into weapons and armor is one thing, but when desire burns out of control and the media spotlight gets too hot to bear, can a commoner turned duke and his posh apprentice find lasting love? So I think this is another one that I gave it probably like 3 or 3.5 stars. This is another of the books that I have no written review for it. I don't think I officially gave it a rating. Maybe in my spreadsheet, but I don't want to look for my spreadsheet. So this is, you're getting memory, Natalie, okay? So, based on my memory, this was really enjoyable. I read it, I think, like in 3 days. I picked up the audiobook. I owned this as an ebook, but I was like, well, I'm not getting around to it like that. So I picked up the audiobook, really enjoyed it. I think I did get a little bit annoyed with the relationship between the main characters, but not too much, nothing that was too dramatic. I still would consider this an overwhelmingly positive reading experience, again, based on memory alone. And this was just a book I needed at the time when I picked it up because I was really feeling slumpish, wasn't really sure what I wanted to read, and this book kind of reminded me how much I love reading and how reading can be easy and fun and quick. That's important, y'all, okay? That's important. So I think that's the main thing I have to say about it. The next book I'm going to be talking about is Worship by Jack Harbin. And this is another one that I'm going to read the summary, even though it's a novella, because I can't remember how to explain it. Oak Ridge High School's 10-year reunion was the last place Arden Hale ever expected to see Spencer Gaines. After graduation, she left town and started a cushy new life in New York. It felt like she outgrew the small community. Now that she's back, he can finally fill the void he spent years trying to fit other women into. The truth is, it's always been Spencer. It's been her in all his fantasy, her on his mind when he finishes. She's the one that he's pined after for over a decade. And she's back. All he has to do is make her his. So I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed this novella. It had the perfect mix of letting me know who the characters were, feeding me information that felt realistic and like I could see these characters as people, while at the same time having really good smut. It was really, really, really good. The balance was perfection. I could have easily appreciated this as a much longer story if the pacing remained similar, because it just quality content. I don't have too much to say about it because it was short, but I would recommend it if you're looking for something short, smutty, and a whole kind of like mischance, I guess, romance of finally coming to fruition. The last book I'm going to be talking about is The Witch's Wolves by Ellie Mae McGregor. In this book, we follow this woman who has been ostracized from her community because she's just horny on Maine all the time, and her community doesn't accept her being horny on Maine. And so she runs off into the woods and she finds this cabin, and in that cabin live these 2 werewolves who are a couple, and they decide to bring her into their relationship. What did I rate this? 3.5 stars. So again, another story that overall I enjoyed. I had a good time. It wasn't quite everything I wanted it to be. The pacing was a bit too rapid fire for my enjoyment, but in general, I did actually enjoy the relationship between the characters, and the smut was also very, very, very fun and very enjoyable. So yeah, I would recommend this if you're looking for a werewolf, smutty, polyamorous romance, because this delivers exactly that. And the way the characters just adore one another, that's the content I want. That is what I need from everything that I read. Okay? Just devotion. We love to see it. Anyway, so that's it for today's video. I think this is going to be a very, very short one. Maybe I should have added more romances on here, but I will not, because I really need some videos to break up the pace on this channel. So if you would like to follow me on any of my social media, I will have the links to that down below in the description. But for now, see you next time.